will come at 5:03 p.m. Let's everybody say who they are for the record.
Scott Breyer, Select Board.
Scott Morley, Select Board.
Dan Webster, Board Member.
Matt Maxwell, Town Administrator. From the back.
Jeff Tagway, Town Clerk, Town Bookkeeper.
Matthew Wilson with Chronicle.
Running Minutes Board.
Pedro Stanley, Planning Commission.
Front row, left to right.
Jason Lins, Coventry Principal. Amy Stanger, Coventry School Board. Bill Marquette, Emergency Management Director, Marijuana Address.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. We got any changes to the agenda? Additions, deletions? I think Dave Barlow wants to ask you guys a budget question under other business. He'll be alone. Okay. Public comment. Hearing none, we shall move on to emergency services. Newport Fire, they could not be here tonight. I spoke with the intern fire chief, Kevin Lacoste, and a woman, Rebecca Terrian, that works in the office at the municipal building there in Newport. They're good. They're well aware of what we did with the ambulance, and they're good with the same thing for the fire service. Okay. So they will send us a contract. I don't know, when do they normally send the contracts, Bill?
That one I saw was October, dated October, so it's probably past.
They're a little behind, but when they send us our renewed contract, it will reflect that the boundary that we set with the ambulance. And then I will do the same thing with Orleans. Request a contract from Orleans for that. And I've talked to EJ, he's good with that too, so.
They're gonna take effect January 1, right?
Right.
Question on that, finally. Would it make sense to change it to, I know you have to do like a short contract, but change it to fiscal year? Cause then like, if you have cost changes,
They don't want them fiscal. They
don't.
No, they want them calendar. Doesn't matter to us. So the only concern I have on all of that is it's easy to accept, I suppose, them saying we're all good with it, but that means they're gonna take less money,
Yes,
and they know that.
they are aware.
So they're gonna send us a contract with the amount blank and we fill it in.
No, they're gonna figure out the number. I asked EJ last week, he just hasn't gotten it to us yet. He's gonna give the number for what the total cost of the town is, and then it gets split up.
Well, we have the beginning numbers and then we can see what the end numbers are and then we can read it.
I mean, we know what we've been paying for the last,
We know what our total
we've
number
been
is.
paying it for the last 3 years, so if Newport comes in with, saying it's gonna cost 30, we know that's too high.
So you're suggesting that we don't motion and make decisions on contract numbers tonight?
I wouldn't until we have the numbers.
Let's get the numbers and then we can.
No sense doing anything without the number.
I mean, we've got,
there's no number in the contract.
we're gonna need the numbers, for our budget anyway. Sooner rather than later.
This is Newport one, which I'm pretty sure Orleans based theirs off of when we had them do it,
It's a 5-year now, right?
which that may change.
5-year rolling average. So here's what I'd just like us to think about. The boundary lines have changed. So similarly with what we did with the ambulance, we suggested a 50-50 line for response time.
Then we'll do an actual count
And
at some point.
And so we know what our expense was this year for total fire package. So it's, let's say 2/3 total budget, Newport, 1/3 Orleans. We're changing the line, which is gonna change those rolling averages.
Right, we're gonna need to make new rolling averages.
going forward.
Right.
But to establish this coming year's contract, we would be best served, I would think, at looking at last year's total package, dividing it 50-50, give inflationary adjustments if we want to do that, and that's the number. So we don't have to hear back from them on what the number is, we know what we're gonna pay.
Right.
And then going forward, we would ask, because everybody seems to like the rolling average
They
piece,
do, they
based on
prefer
number of
that.
calls,
They
it sort of
prefer
evens things out. And we would build that going forward.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure why we wouldn't be ready to
that.
deal
Go
with,
for
that number.
But wouldn't the parts studies be a little bit higher because they've got a lot more bigger equipment and detail than for the unions, which will be a factor in that amount, so it may not be in equal 50-50 split.
I think they should have a representative here to talk to us about that. And so for some reason they're choosing not to. So. I know everybody's after us for this number because they gotta create their budgets. Because whatever we give or don't give is gonna impact their budget from other taxpayers in other towns.
Mhm.
Huh?
Which will probably be
Yeah,
better.
it impacts everybody, so I'm at a loss on this. Why they wouldn't wanna be here to discuss that.
Well, the Kevin, he said that he doesn't deal with budgets. Or contracts. So I spoke to the lady in the office there, and she didn't see any reason to be here.
Well, when we fill in the number on the contract, I'm sure they're gonna wanna show up.
I'd fill it in right now.
Hey,
I mean. That's what we're here to do tonight. We were prepared to make this decision because everybody's in a time crunch.
Mhm.
So they're asking us. What are they asking us? To just
They're not asking
give
us-
them the nod
They're
and
not
they'll
asking,
send
they
us
didn't
a.
ask us anything. I mean,
they're gonna wanna check before the
they
end of the
they
year,
know, they are well aware of what we're doing here tonight.
right?
Yeah, we can't give them a check unless we have the discussion and vote on it.
Yeah, but that checks for the previous,
Huh?
that checks for the previous. That invoice.
They're gonna invoice us for the service contract starting January 1 in January.
That invoice comes in November to the year, right?
It could be, I don't think we've seen it yet.
For the current year we're in.
We pay ahead, I don't think we pay behind. They
Yeah,
get their
I don't
money
think
ahead
so
of time.
either.
They always get their money ahead of time,
Yeah,
like, we're not
I
lagging
get
6
that for
months,
the calendar versus.
we're not lagging 6 months
and so
behind.
you might not have
So it may
the
not be
bill
there.
yet, but it's,
So I know Newport's is calculated on the. Cause in the contracts, it's calculated on the average from the previous, those calls in the previous. In the budget year that were, for,
Right,
and that's where that number's.
what's the total that we pay?
Last year we paid for, what, 23,000? Like that.
Oh, it's. Again, it's with the calendar.
Right, but last year was low for Newport.
It
I mean,
went-
it's approximately 50,000. That's a bet, or average over the last.
I think the budget's been
2 to
around
3 years.
41,000 of the budget, and that's where it's been just shy.
So can we know this answer?
I have it probably right here.
Do we know how much we paid for Orleans for total fire?
But it's just it's just an average of the last 3 years. That-
5-year
well,
rolling average.
I don't think we started with the rolling average of Orleans until,
I was on when we started
yeah,
that.
maybe last year, so it's their numbers are different.
Newport City Fire Department, 45,000.
Even?
That's what we budgeted. The actual, we don't know.
Okay. What was Orleans?
0. No, fire department Orleans 22,596. 67,596.
That's what we budgeted, right?
So,
Ambulance is separate line item.
Yeah.
it's my thinking that we take that number, 67,596 divided by 2. And if we wanna. I guess it wouldn't be inflationary, would it, the way they build it?
No.
And that's what they would get paid. This coming year, both departments, and then we,
To an actual physical count.
Same thing we're gonna do in the end.
If we
well,
have-
it's based on calls. That's the rolling average, right? It's infrastructures in there.
You've got, so again, the way Newport is, you have
Yeah.
the based on calls line and then the capital share, which
Yeah.
is based on the percentage of calls that's.
Right.
Is it based then divided by how many people?
No,
It doesn't work like the ambulance. Does it
Call.
go by structures or no?
no. It goes by the infrastructure that they have,
Okay,
all their equipment and.
And that capital shares as there's a bond payment, like right now, that it's low this year, I believe it's low this year because there's no capital payment at this point, all the trucks are paid off. The Newport.
so
So I don't know how EJ could be speaking for Newport on that.
No, he was just gonna give the Orleans number.
well, let's see what the numbers we get are. I would
So I
think.
get that's where I was trying to go with you earlier, was the rolling average and the invoices that Newport's been giving, you guys should be able to take a little bit of research, you should be able to figure out based on what calls have been in the proposed new area that Orleans is taking to decide, you could get an idea of how much less that rolling average is gonna be.
If you took the 5-year average of the calls on that side of the line
Exactly,
and this side of the line, then you could come up with
a number.
a
And that's-
good real average it'd be a fair average of the percentage.
And that's where the data is missing from Orleans, but you at least get the Newport side.
Right?
Yep.
So it should be easy enough to get an address of every fire call that they've
I've
had
actually
over the
got
last.
some here.
You have them?
I think I've been bringing them down before Matt. I don't know where they ended up because of the person that was in there. But we got copies of them.
So I guess we'll come up with a number by our next meeting, what we're gonna pay by the information we get where the calls were, we can come up with the average. The fair average, the real rolling average on the side of the line. And by then we could come up with a price point for each service.
I don't
And then-
agree with the split at 50-50 because it could be Orleans will end up with 25% of the calls, and if you look at the town as a whole, Orleans gonna have 25% of the calls, Newport at 75 or vice versa. That's where the rolling average is as well.
By the rolling average of where the actual fires occurred. It's gonna be pretty right, I would imagine, over 5 years.
Well, I guess we haven't put enough importance on this issue. Cause I'm a little dismayed that we're here tonight. We've asked Newport to be here. We've met with Orleans. I thought we were going to be having this discussion with somewhat of an expert to make this decision. So, what should we do? Go one more meeting and tell them you're not gonna like our number if you're not here. Somebody's gotta help us craft their number so that they can live with it
Or
and
we
we can
just,
live
or
with
we
it.
don't wait, we just go with the math you just did right there.
I don't think it'd be fair to divide it in half. Without knowing the history.
It's not the best thing to do, no, for sure. Or what if they say no? They're not here for discussion on the contract. Can't craft a contract with one party.
Right,
When could you get Matt the numbers of the
I
fires?
think I have all of them right here, I think we can copy them and I'll go through it. I guess it depends on how long we're here tonight.
I would caution you working for
I
that
am.
department without being duly represented.
Yeah.
So
I feel comfortable with these papers I have because I've been handed them.
send me the mayor's number. Give me her name and number after the meeting and I'll pop there.
Okay.
We need to know.
Crazy.
Very good. Coventry Village School, Australian ballot.
Oh. Hi, Jamie.
Whoever's talking, go ahead.
So, we were recently, I'll just give the backstory. Last, town meeting day, the town voted to approve Australian ballot for, the election of board members. The, school board budget has always been Australian ballot. We decided as a school board at a recent meeting unanimously to mail the Australian ballots to every resident in town. We later were informed, correctly or incorrectly, I'm not sure, that the select board of the town has to approve the mailing of that Australian ballot, which is why we're here. To ask for the approval to mail those ballots to the residents of town. Scott and I had a conversation prior to the meeting, and there was some question about whether that is in fact legally the case. We got an email from the Secretary of State's office, the gentleman in charge of this portion of voting, and he indicated that this was necessary. So we would ask the board to approve. However, we may want to do some more investigating to see if it is the case that we do need your approval or not. I don't think, based on when we have to know, we've got time to figure that out. So if we want to table that to get more information till next month's meeting, we can do that. Unless, you would like to vote on it.
So I know I'm the cog in the wheel on this one. And it's only because I'm uneducated on it. Typically, I can see something, I can understand it, whether I agree or whether I don't, I understand it. I don't understand this one. I've read the statute that Deb provided for us. I read it as all school district, not town school.
We are considered a school district, though. Yeah. So if you read the last, I'll read it to you, the last portion of the email from the elections administrator at the Vermont Office of Secretary of State. The ballot shall be mailed out. So the school district needs the approval of each town select board within the school district. If it is just your town, then it is just your select board.
That's not the statute language, though. That's what she wrote.
That's what he wrote, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy to read the actual, if anybody.
I'd like to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, early and absentee voting, at the time the Australian ballots are available, which shall not be less than 20 days before the election. Voting shall be permitted in accordance with chapter 51, subchapter 6 of this title. The legislative body of a town, city, or village may vote to mail a ballot to all active registered voters in the town. A school board may, after receiving the approval of the legislative body of each member town in the district, the select board, vote to mail its annual meeting ballot to all active registered voters in the district. In such case, the town clerk and election officials in the member town shall be responsible for the mailing of the ballots, but all costs associated with the mailing shall be borne by the school district.
In the member towns, plural.
No, so the way our NCSE was set up.
What that word that you just read is, it's in the member towns,
Correct.
plural.
So the way the NCSE was set up is we are all member districts that are part of the larger organization. So as far as each individual school district is concerned, we are our own entity. And so as far as this is concerned, yeah, I think we do need approval from you guys. So I don't think it matters what the others are doing.
No, we're talking about the Coventry's a district. The SU is the supervisory union of districts, so we're just talking.
Correct,
The town of Coventry School District
that's it,
is
yeah,
us.
no one else. And so for us, you guys are legislative body, no one else kind of comes into this equation at all.
So you've been doing the Australian ballot for the budget.
The budget's always been Australian ballot because of the way the vote went at town meeting day. We piggybacked on the vote of town doing away with the voice votes and doing everything as Australian ballot. The town voted first for the school district to be Australian ballot for school board elections. That was approved by the town. Then the town vote on Australian ballot for all the other items did not pass. So we're kind of sitting on an island, regardless of whether it's Australian ballot or not. It is Australian ballot now. And what we want to do is, instead of forcing folks to come to town meeting day and fill out their Australian ballot, we mail to them. But according to the statute, the way we read it is, and you could be correct in that it's vague and we need to get more clarity on it, but according to how we read it, your approval is needed for us to mail the Australian ballot.
Have we been doing that for the budgetary Australian ballot?
For COVID, yes. The COVID years, yes. This past year was the first year we went back to in-person voting.
But that was because during COVID time, we had the authority to mail budget and elections, and so it was easier to mail both.
Correct.
When we came out of it, it didn't make sense to have the budget on Australian ballot and the elections on with town meeting and coming in. So we put out the article to make both of them Australian ballot. And now that they're both Australian ballot, we don't have to have that thing where we have a split of, you know, whether we mail something out or not. We can just mail the whole thing out, our whole school board package with elections and budget, everything goes out to the voters. So it's cleaner now than it would have been before if we had tried to mail just the budget.
Pre-COVID, it wasn't being mailed, right?
No.
Pre-COVID,
No.
no.
No, but we're talking about two different things. We've got Australian ballot and we've got a mailer. Australian ballot that's how it's gonna be. The question is, do you mail it? Do we mail it? Or do you have to come town meeting day and fill it out? There's gonna be no voice vote on the floor. So we as a school board voted to do a mailer so that.
Right, do we get 125 votes or do we get 600 votes?
Well, that's, we felt that voter participation in this was better than less voter participation.
Yeah, last year we had 169, the year before we had like 3 something.
So we felt that more townspeople would participate in the election or in the approval of the budgets and the school board members than forcing them to come here that day.
And we also have a lot of parents who can't make it in, and the fact that their kids are in the school, we believe they actually have, you know, should have a voice in the budget. So we want to give them an opportunity to be able to vote as well. And if we, given that it's Australian ballot, it's legally prescribed, there's a legal method for us to go about it. We don't see why not make it easier for our voters.
So really, you just want our approval just to send them?
That's it. Everything else we handle.
Isn't that odd? That you have to ask permission for
I
that?
agree.
I know,
There's a lot of stuff.
That's my hang up, which is,
but that's the thing.
what other thing do you come and ask us for?
At the end of the day, though, elections are more a legislative thing. And because they're a legislative thing and you guys are a legislative body, that's why it's all kind of. It's one of those like courts that came out of a bunch of things being put together. Someone had to find out who manages elections, who manages ballots, and because it falls under town clerk and select board. That's the only reason why, but otherwise I completely agree with you. It makes no sense.
Because it's elections.
Because it's elections, that's the.
I bet there's other things that we would have to come to you for. Trying to think of something.
Well,
No, it's an article in the.
Say we wanted to dig a well and get off the town water. I bet we'd have to ask your permission to do that.
Not our permission, no, it'd be the fire district, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of something.
I don't think they have to ask their permission for anything, really.
I mean, another thing I was
We give
thinking
it
of,
to you.
that is possible, could we put an article out where this is just like an, can we make an amendment to the statute.
I'm all right with
To a town by saying that.
it. Yeah, I don't see the issue.
Okay.
You would have to go to your
I
state.
think the whole town should be.
And then get-
Them go ahead and put that on. the
Even
ballot.
town
Okay,
meeting,
gotcha.
the whole fucking thing.
And that won't be until probably next coming fall.
That's assuming David.
They even put it on, yeah, if it even is during that session.
Well, the town wanted it, that the town vote was that to do the Australian ballots on. That's the way it is, so we should do it. I don't understand it, still don't, so I'll ask for clarity on it, but I'll vote yes.
Yep.
We need a
So,
motion first, right?
so, let's make a motion on, Coventry Village School Australian ballot, mailing it out to all the, town, people. I make a motion that we approve and allow the school to mail out the ballot.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
That's the
Thank you, guys.
registered voters,
you.
right?
We'll make this an annual date with you guys.
Jason, thanks.
You guys should probably cite the statute that was, I think, in that email. That's the, we folks have to look at it already.
17 VSA 2680.
Per statute 17 VSA 2680.
Correct.
Perfect.
Good job.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, Cleveland Meeting House.
Thank you.
Next year.
Do you mind if we?
Next, we gotta do this every year?
No,
See,
Let's do it by Australian ballot.
Next time you guys can come over there. We'll have dinner. You guys
See ya.
change that motion to for future.
Cleveland Meeting House. We gotta do something to stop the water from coming in there. So I've got Bernie Gagne came and looked at it. He said we can dig it up and put a new pipe in there. Or you might be able to just build the grate up a little bit along the edge of the church there where it comes off the eaves, and that might fix your problem.
I think we should dig it up with our new backhoe.
That's what he recommended. Well, he didn't say with our new backhoe, but he
Let the
recommended,
boys
We
play
got
with it.
gutters.
you know,
We talked about,
I thought we put gutters.
they have gutters.
I thought there was.
I
So
just,
it's not coming off the eaves then.
Well, it's not going where it's supposed to go. It's coming down, and there's an old pipe in the ground there, and it's not-
broken, it's
Yeah,
not working.
It's not doing what it's supposed to be.
You're
doing.
talking on this side of
I'm
it.
talking on this
Yeah,
side right
yeah.
here.
dig it up and
It's
replace the
uphill
pipe.
side.
It's going inside the building.
Yeah.
Is it coming from the road?
No, it's coming from the roof, I think. From the church.
So the pipe is not a pipe that's connected to the roof
No,
eaves?
it's
It's,
not.
it's
Yeah,
just a drainage pipe?
So we're gonna dig up that side, get down low, maybe can they, what kind of, is it a stone foundation or that's a concrete
It's-
foundation on half of it, right? Like a
Couple
board?
different types of stuff. There's some stone down there, there's some,
We should
There's some other
see if
things.
there's any kind of sealer we can put on the foundation and definitely put a couple feet of stone below the footing and then. some
David, we're talking
fabric
about the
and-
Cleveland Meeting House, if you
Do
wanna,
it, let's do it one time.
you wanna add
With
your
our guys?
expertise in.
Why can't they do it?
What are we gonna do with this church?
Hopefully they don't knock into it.
So
Maybe our machine's too big.
I don't know. I haven't even looked at the place.
Well, let's see if Nathan, let's get the machine on Wednesday and see if Nathan thinks it's something that he wants to do or can do, and if he doesn't feel he can do it, then we should get.
You're talking about
I missed,
X.
what did you say? I missed all that. I was writing that other sentence. Wait until when?
Wednesday, the machine's gonna come, we'll see how big this thing is and see if it's on the side of the church or should we just get the guy on the Glen Road and help him do it?
Okay.
And then this would be under, this would fall into one of
Wednesday,
our,
it's coming, are
I
things,
mean, you'd think there'd be grants for that. This is like,
So, sure, yeah, there might be, yeah.
yeah, historic buildings, you got water damages.
there might be some grants, but this is something we gotta fix, right? Because we can't wait, you know, we can't just keep letting it go in here. That's what I'm saying. You guys gotta tell us what to do. So we can get get it.
We're only talking,
And then I can look into.
it's a
whatever
$10,000 or less problem.
I think having Nate look
But
at
yeah.
it and see what he can do with that thing is,
If he can dig down there and get down 4 feet and get below and get the water out of it, it's probably not as bad as what.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't think there's not much of a fix to be made here. It's just, it was I'm not sure what the previous conversation was, but the drainage system was installed with perforated pipe along the building, and it should have been built with solid pipe.
Well, yes and no. Perforated pipe you need for the water to get into it, the groundwater, and it comes out the bottom, and the bottom of the perforated pipe is solid.
It's pretty clear the water that's getting in is coming off the roof. So the water is being directed off the roof directly into this perforated pipe. And eventually what happened is it washed out and got into the basement. The roof water should be directly piped directly into the street gutter, like you would think it would have been designed to do, but for some reason he put perforated pipe along the building.
I haven't seen it, so yeah, that.
And not.
So the gutter should go into a pipe that's in the ground that you don't see and goes and daylights out.
A solid pipe.
Solid pipe.
Right.
Which is
Not the pipe we've got.
Which is but it's not solid, it's perforated.
Yeah.
Because they just teed into the drainage. By the sounds of it, but it's like,
Okay.
you gotta go look at it.
Yeah.
You can't.
I can meet Nate over there Wednesday or Thursday. We can take a peek at it, or not Thursday, but Friday. And we'll look at it, and I'll have a better idea of it. I'll meet with Nate and go over it.
Sounds good.
Do it like it was yours.
Okay, yep.
You're gonna meet with Nate and get the back.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You just gotta know what's there.
Right.
Okay, very good.
So heads up on that as well. I have temporarily diverted the roof water out of the pump it into the basement system that it was installed into, and it's got those green plastic diverters attached to the downspouts at the present time. Seems to have worked in the weekend's rainstorm. There was no fresh water in the basement.
Not that big a problem then. No. All right.
Okay.
Prior to the gutter being hooked to that drainage pipe, were we having any water issues in the basement?
Well, yeah, I mean, for years, because the old roof had a gutter and the new roof has a gutter. We just
Okay.
put a new gutter.
All right.
It likely took years for the water to wash out enough to get into the basement, but it did.
All right. That gives me a good idea of what we
At least
should do.
that's what it appears that's what's going on to me. And Bernie Gagne dug around in it. Matt can tell you, I presume told you the results of looking at it with the video camera. So.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, next up, we have the purchasing and reimbursement policy. This was from last meeting. You guys wanted to raise the limit on the town credit card, which this wouldn't affect our credit card policy is thankfully quite vague, so there's no real dollar amounts on here, but our purchasing policy does have amounts on here, and it states that no purchase over $1,000 for any budgeted item shall be made by any town officer without prior approval of the select board. So, I mean, even if you raise that limit, it wouldn't do, I'd still have to come and ask you for everything anyway, for something like that, according to our current policy. So you could, raising the limit wouldn't do you any good unless you decide to make a change to this.
So we should raise the limit on there.
That's up to you guys.
Or I don't mind having the select board have to be.
Actually, okay, so it's $2,000 for town administrator, $1,000 for any other town officer, but it says purchases over $2,000, I need to get.
So I don't mind the select board having to be asked for something $1,000 or $2,000 and get approval on it, but it'd be nice to have the credit card be able to take it. once we
Yeah,
say
change the credit
yes,
card,
just
yeah.
change the credit card, and then we vote on, hey, these guys wanna buy a tamper for 3,500, they're gonna buy it online and they're gonna use a credit card. Is this okay? We vote on it, yes, the credit card works. Deb needs to buy a new printer, credit card will work, we approve it, anything like that.
We're not doing that now, do we? I mean, we shouldn't tell on ourselves, but you guys don't come and ask us if you're gonna spend more than $1,000.
Actually, we haven't.
For
but the
permission.
Only big expenses coming through is been better roads.
Yeah,
Because
you know,
equipment parts.
It usually gets
Is it gonna make
asked
a
when you do,
motion?
I don't really.
when we do work at the mall,
They
and
really
that's,
don't ask
you
me.
always get permission.
Unless it's like,
Absolutely.
I think everybody asks,
She's just thinking about my shelving that got installed.
the shelving.
yeah, the shelving.
Well, since March, I've never made a motion or been privy to a motion.
We don't
that-
spend any
But
money
that
here,
means you
Scott.
haven't been spending.
Gonna say,
Well, we got a lot of warrants that are over 1,000.
It's because it's little $200 purchases at a time.
So what do you think we should do? Where are you at? What are we doing?
I think we should raise the
Well, I don't,
limit.
yeah, I don't care.
I think we should raise the credit card limit to either $5,000 or $10,000. Probably $5,000.
Maybe do a baby step to 5. Because typically.
You
what
pay it every
happens-
month anyway, correct?
as long as you just,
But also, like, for some reason, like, if we get around and it's time for annual reports and whatnot, and he needs to make a charge of $4,000, then usually it's like, okay, I get on plus the balance, I pay the balance, and then it frees it up for whatever else needs to go on, if we need to within the month.
I don't think $10,000 is a lot of money. I think we should just raise it to 10,000. I don't think it matters. If someone's stealing, you can do a chargeback, or I think it's the safest way to pay.
Yeah, I'm,
Because we're still asking, we're still gonna ask for it. I make a motion, we raise the
Yeah.
town credit card to $10,000.
Okay, that was a motion.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
I
Okay. That was easy.
You're a spender.
You're still gonna ask,
I'm
so
I'm a planner. We're just planning to spend.
All right, next up, we have Wednesdays on the waterfront.
I would just say one thing to that.
Okay,
Here's what I would say. I believe in local spending. So I believe in supporting the Pick and Shovel, the Chronicle, all of our local folks. Credit cards go away from that. We get a credit card and we get playing on the computer and buying stuff because we're gonna save $10, $50, $100. I don't think that that's good town business. I get it. And I'm wicked conservative too, but there's a lot more to think about on that.
See
So.
that UPS truck leaving your house every day.
See it going by. So I just say that because I don't think that we should change course on our local vendors because we can get something on Amazon and save this much little bit of money. I don't think we should do it. So
I totally agree with
I'm
that.
for the increase, in the rarest of occasions when we have to use it. And I think it should almost be like a flag gets thrown. Hey, I'm gonna use the credit card because, and there should be a damn good reason why we're going away from our local source.
Mhm.
And maybe it's something they don't have, they don't provide, it's something that's.
I don't
like
think
that.
anyone has one of those campers right on the floor, and they can order it off Amazon and sell it to us for $500 more.
Well, I
That's
don't
what's gonna happen.
I don't know what the tamper is, but I'm just, generally speaking,
That's what they're gonna do.
we should be using our local people.
But if we wanna buy that local, we'll print that off and use the specs off that and have them. This is what we can get it for. Can you save us any money or do around the same? They say yes.
We can have it cheese.
Yeah, that's a good point.
okay, so we're raising the credit card. We're gonna try. All right, Wednesdays on.
I bet you get
waterfront.
approved.
So they give you guys several options for an appropriation. This is gonna go in our, this will go in the regular appropriations, but I just need to know what amount you'd like me to put next to their name. We did $1,000 last year.
This is the one that confused me, Deb.
Yes, it does.
So it does go into our appropriations, just a
Yes.
little differently.
Right.
No, it's always been built in the budget and not the appropriation. It has not been listed within the appropriation.
Was last year, Dennis.
Wednesdays?
No,
Go look in the book.
really?
What is this?
Yeah.
Because I know, because I'm the one that did the book. I know. It was there.
That was the first time they came.
That was the first time they asked us. for money.
Now we've been giving money.
We've
to
been-
every single
we
year.
used to give-
Except the COVID.
We gave
When we-
500 for a while, then we
Yeah.
bumped it to 1,000, I
Yeah.
think, last year.
Yeah, they were right on the list with everybody else.
Yeah.
I think it's a great cause.
Yeah, I do too. I just was confused at the invoice we got and I asked Deb and was like, why aren't we putting it through?
Yeah,
It does. It goes right through the appropriations, gets voted
and I
on.
think last year's the first year it's been that way. Prior to it was always built into the budget.
So we're handling this just like any other appropriation. It's just a sneak peek and they're asked and they want to know for their own.
What are their options? How much? 1,000, 500, 1,000, 2,000? This is a great thing.
It is.
Did they charge us to use did we rent?
So it wasn't Wednesdays, it was kind of ours.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
And, yeah, I got followed up with them.
all right. I honestly think we should do the best sponsor for that.
What have we been doing, Matt?
1,000.
We've been doing.
I think we should put it on for 2,500. I mean, only because this is Newport, what we could give back a little.
Tell us what it
probably
is,
to
Matt.
cause like that.
What is it?
A
I don't
lot
know
of people that.
It's free, there's a free concert series in the summer.
I mean, I know what Wednesday's on the warrant is.
This is to help support it.
Yeah,
Pay for it.
yeah, they send this to every town.
And there's some local banks. And
Yeah, but
different
it's
sponsors.
Sponsors,
Sponsors.
you know, pay for the stuff, because they don't charge, right?
No,
For donation.
they give free popcorn
Yeah.
No tickets and all that stuff.
Just go up,
and it's
I've
packed.
heard
Yeah.
it's great, but I've never been.
Yeah.
bring your lawn.
And I've gone by and went there.
But
They had obviously Barlow dancing there.
Yeah. They had a Beatles cover this.
you want to go way up high.
I guess what I'm asking when it says
When you really
a
think,
banner,
when you
is it
think about it.
Coventry, is that what they're?
Yeah, it'll say town of Coventry.
Okay, Newport doesn't
Yeah,
get
they have-
anything from,
Around the stage.
Yeah, hang him up. on
Yeah,
the-
no, I'm
I mean, I think,
totally in support of it.
I mean, we could do it. either
So
way.
it needs to be ultimately voted in. So you put it right into our whole appropriation pile.
Right,
And is that how we did it?
Mhm.
That's how we're doing it, right? One big pile.
Right.
One big
so
$15,000.
you know, I just need to know the amount to put next to their name.
Yeah.
You know,
What was the last one?
1,000.
They have tiers?
And then
Yeah,
you guys have to decide. what you
1,500,
want that number to be.
2,500.
500, 1,000, 15 and 2,500s.
Do you want to go take just one step up this next year, or do you want to just go see if they'll approve the 2,500?
I think probably for town meeting, you'd want to take one step. I don't know if people would say, let's give it 2,500 when you don't give that to libraries and a whole bunch
We
of
do
other
though.
different things. I mean, we give a lot, but
$3,000, I think.
Yeah, the libraries are the big ones. They're usually 25, 3,000.
More people go to the waterfront than the library.
definitely kind of a big deal. Do you go, Deb?
The library or waterfront? No, I haven't. It's actually really good.
Yeah, you have his?
Yeah.
Very, and you too, Phil?
It's packed.
When you say
Really
packed,
good thing for the local
You
area.
sit down and.
I had-
You sit down at the restaurant.
talk to the organizer to see about if there's at some point in the future to team up with doing here and there or something.
Yeah.
But
It's just such a nice setting.
What about you?
Yeah.
You been up there
where?
to the waterfront?
And the waterfronts. Yeah, I've done that before. It's really great what they do.
Yeah,
I'm
I think-
going to another meeting. If you have any questions, send me a text on it.
thanks, Doug.
I would think
Yeah.
that, I would
Yeah, they
think
do a
we
great
should just
job.
put it for $2,500.
Good quality.
I motion that we put on the appropriation list $2,500 for Wednesdays on the waterfront.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. There, they can approve.
Great job, guys. You made Wednesdays on the waterfront happy.
Maybe one thing with doing the operations all in one shot is you can't change one of the.
They're not gonna not approve them.
But no, and that's the thing, but I know that came up in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It's just long, you'll be there forever, because
Dave Barlow, treasurer's report.
oh, he's muted.
You're muted.
Now I'm unmuted.
There you go.
Can you, if you give me permission there, Matt, I can put it up on the screen if that matters. Does
Go for
everybody
it.
have a copy?
I printed this.
And what do you do here? Put the arrow next to it.
Oh, you might not have
Arrow.
it, because I asked it.
There's no.
You can have
Oh,
it.
I do.
I didn't get that.
Put stop there and stop. Stop there, yep,
You might share it.
and then put that arrow
60
next to it
minutes.
there. Multiple participants.
Oh,
Alright, now it's.
That's kind of what we want. Here we go. He's got it up here. Look.
All righty. High tech at its bestest.
That's pretty.
I'm sure we bought this locally. Using the credit card. So you will notice that I've added a couple columns to this month's report. So I can show you where the CDs are and the total fund balances. So for example, if we look at the general fund, I think I can probably scribble on this too. General fund checking. Can you see my scribbles?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, look at that. Of course, here's the balance on October 1st. Revenues, expenses, that's all normal. Balance here. But we do in fact have 750,000 in CDs over in our brokerage account. So the actual balance of that fund, not the checking account, but the fund in total is 3,500,000. But available to spend on October 31st as free cash, 2.8. 2,801,589.
And we haven't wrote the check to the school yet, correct?
Oh, I think we've written it.
Is it out of that?
You haven't signed it yet.
So that's why that's so high,
Yeah, scared me too.
because that's like the 2, that check starts with a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually, our current balance includes all of the tax revenue from November as well. We're like at 3.3 million, something like that. So once the school check comes out, we're going to be at a normal balance in the checking. I have no concerns about that's where it needs to be.
Yep.
Okay, so if I can somehow get back to there, we go. Scroll down just a little bit. So I need to. Out. So a similar effect. Down here with the reserve funds, where I'm showing you over in this column the funds that have CDs in our brokerage account. And this month is reflects my cleaning out of those accounts to maximize our interest for the next few months. So for example, you can see buildings and maintenance started the month at 121,000 and ends the month at 100,000. So I had already hit that one. Let me find one that I hit Yeah, community and economic development started at 224,000. Took 200,000 out of it, so now it's sitting at 24,626 with 200,000 in a CD. All those CDs come due in the March-April timeframe, right around the end of town meeting month, so that I can do whatever it is that the town votes on. But in the meantime, we've got 1,750,000 in CDs that are paying at least 5%. Most of them are more like 5.3, 5.4% annual interest.
Good job.
So, well, just following what you told me to do. So, any questions then on the, what I see is probably a fairly temporary addition to the treasurer's report, which is showing where the CDs are in each account.
Looks good. No, that's good. I got
Okay.
it clear.
There's that. Get my mouse back. Can scroll down a little bit. I think as of this report that all of the Edmund Douglas Price Fund that used to be Microsoft is now in a single mutual fund. And that's as per the original donor's instructions. And you can see the account printout for that. It's attached to the report that Matt probably emailed to you at this point. I just got it to him today, so it's a little bit of a delay on my part. Okay. In terms of results from collecting taxes, it was pretty normal year. Delinquent amount was 50,000 something, which is a pretty normal amount for delinquent taxes. Pretty much all the usual players involved, so no real surprises. Nothing real unusual to report there. Any questions?
Well, the penalty on being late now isn't that. It used to be 10% used to seem like a lot on money, but now when it's 9%, I wonder if that rate should be going up. You know what I mean? Interest rates are 7, 8, 9% now. So if it's cheaper for you to be late on your taxes than get a loan to pay for them.
That must be state government.
That's state.
Well, we already collect at the highest rate allowed by the state. It's a statutory rate. So there's an 8% penalty right off the bat, and that's what pays Kate. The interest is 1% per month for the first 3 months, and then thereafter it's 1.5% per month.
Oh, it's a lot then.
So yeah, you're looking at
That's a lot.
Wow.
12 to 18%. No, not even more than that. 18 to plus. I mean, it's steep.
Where's that extra percent go?
And oddly enough, not much of a motivator, even at that rate.
And then the 1% goes.
Okay, so if that's it for questions, I will hand it back to Mr. Matt.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Dave.
I was trying to figure out where we are in the road budget, and Dave's gonna be able to tell us. So we'll get him back up.
He's right there. He didn't go anywhere. All right, town truck for the road crew.
Quick, let me leave.
So Dave, I wanted to thank you for the breakdown you emailed over. I don't know if Matt shared it with the rest of the board. Did you share Dave's email with the percentages of the budget used?
I did not, no.
Okay. So we should share with everybody, and this is something we should communicate and really look at. We're gonna be looking at this a lot over the next 2 months, next month and a half to make our budget. When you look at that, David, just give me a breakdown of, I didn't have much time to spend on it, but for the road budget, where are we? So we're a quarter into the year. We have half our salt. I think we have all the sand we need into the budget. So we should have used about 33% of the budget, probably maybe a little bit more because we're going into winter. Winter's more expensive than summer, and we have the supplies. How much of the total road budget do we have left?
Wait,
Because before I can justify buying these guys a truck,
you're about 60, you're about 40%, 41% spent.
which probably isn't bad, seeing how we have the salt, we have the dirt, we have the sand. Now it's probably not bad. We're not,
You got 6 months.
we have
About 6 months left.
July, August, September, October. As of the end of October.
40%, that's, you're not 50% to the year.
No, we're
We're
not bad. It's not as bad off as I thought it could be.
Well, but that was as of October. I'm sorry, what's that?
October
October
31st,
31st, yeah.
4 months.
ordinance. Third.
33 and we're 42, but I think we're heading, we've got the dirt, we've got the salt. We're gonna have to buy salt one more time, I think. That's it.
Yeah,
We
we
contract labor, so there's an extra labor than what was in the budget that was voted on. Right?
Yeah, that's all, that's what he's asking, the all-inclusive percentage
We're
part, so we can
counting the labor, so
shuffle money around if you need to. I guess, yeah, road work this winter.
That was where I was
Will
going.
cost us some overtime pay. But
I think we're not,
I think we're pretty good.
yeah, pretty good.
So
Um,
can we have this for like the next 2 weeks so I can look at it?
Yeah, he'll email you. He's got it in 2 formats too.
Okay,
Share that.
yeah, or I'll just make some photos of this.
You can have this.
Paper's easier.
Yeah.
Because one of your thoughts, right, is to find money for a pickup without going into a new fiscal. And how you might do that.
Or we just might take it out of, we could just take it out of the fund that we set up to buy that stuff that has roads and capital equipment fund. We have $226,000. We have 392,000 in the fund, but we only have 226 available because we put
no, you got 226 in the fund currently.
right, we got 165 in a CD, right? Or no,
No,
that
that's
was
the spending for your loader or digger or whatever it is you bought.
26. We could whack 50 grand right out of there and buy the truck and be done with it and leave that extra 50,000 that we had surplus in the budget in case we fall short in the road budget, I'd really hate to spend that 50 grand, you. Would you like to spend the leftover money? I mean, yes, and it probably doesn't matter.
So you're talking about last year's fiscal leftover.
We had 9,000 in the budget.
Yeah.
And then we had 9,000-ish in the road budget, and then we had 50,000 in the general.
So it's close to 60 total.
60 total.
Unaudited. the auditors may come back with different numbers. They frequently do.
But give or take, right?
Yeah. I don't know these guys, so if it
Well,
was
we
the
were
old guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Explain that one to me, Dave, how an auditor would come up with a different number than our checkbook.
They have a different way of viewing things as to where we might have put stuff or accounted for things.
The end number is
the-
gonna
the-
be the same of the total, but not in the individual category.
Yeah, the big numbers will add up. I'm pretty confident, but you know, where things fall. The wild card this year is they're actually doing that audit for fiscal year 23 based on cash basis. So I'm not sure how that's going to sort. That means that that whole fourth quarter business with Casella on both ends. So the payment in July of 23 and the payment in July of 22 that gets shifted is not going to get shifted. It's going to get shifted back. That could have some impact. I haven't looked at it yet.
Well, it would only have impact on revenue. It wouldn't have impact on expense.
Yes, that's correct.
So we're talking about the expense that we saved that was allocated to be spent. We shouldn't wait for an auditor to tell us the number. We should know the number.
We do know the number. In the accrual basis, we know the number, but now in the new cash base, probably it's.
It'll shift a little bit as well. The magnitude of it, I'm less concerned about the impact just because it's on the expense side. There's not huge numbers involved, but again, auditors find stuff. We just don't know yet. And the other aspect of this is I still don't think, have we had our lawyer rule that you can in fact spend a surplus from a previous year?
Yes.
I haven't talked to the lawyer about it. I've talked to the accountant, the auditor.
Well, I don't know if I talked to the lawyer about it. The auditor told me definitely, you can spend it.
Okay.
He recommended you spend it.
On the auditing bill?
Yeah, probably.
We wondered why we're getting invoices from him left and right.
So when would we know, when is he due to be done? Dave, do we know?
I'm hoping soon. I don't have an exact date. Or even an indication that, oh, you can certainly ask the question.
If we were to make a decision to purchase the truck using that money that we think is left over, and we found through the audit that we were mistaken and therefore overpaid, could we not then satisfy that with a transfer from one of the special funds?
Right. One would presume the capital equipment fund.
Yeah,
Correct.
so.
Yeah, let's motion it that way. Let's get him a truck.
What,
I mean,
is
he's
this
got-
gonna be your last request? Here?
That's it, I'm done.
I should have done this last time.
Okay, I'm done. I won't.
So for the whole fiscal year.
I'm not gonna ask for anything else except for what we put in front of the voters.
Okay,
But she's still gonna make a list of.
well, I mean, that's what we should do.
We need it, you know, we need it.
Right, we gotta make that whole plan.
We make that 2 more things in the plan, then everything's new, we're good. Be really good shape.
You heard that, right?
Yeah, I heard it.
I don't see you asking to spend a bunch of money all the time.
I think it just makes sense. These guys just, they're using their
It
own
does make
vehicles.
sense.
They're using their own vehicles all the time.
It
It seems
does,
to make sense to use the money that we had left over rather than.
Yeah.
Right, use that money,
already out, it's already money.
use that money to purchase the truck where we purchased the truck. And you know, I don't know if the library still has that one, or I got another bid on a different one. It doesn't seem to matter. They're all about the
They're
same
all about
money.
the same.
So you want,
I just assume
Why
I
wouldn't
truck
we-
local.
why wouldn't we do a motion? Why wouldn't we do a motion to expend leftover, what's the right terminology there? There's leftover, excess funds of last year's budget. To go toward the purchase of a half-ton pickup for the road crew.
I wasn't thinking a full four-door either, just a cab and a half. I mean, a back seat, but not like a big
You're
one.
gonna go buy it.
Okay.
Spend excess funds from last year's budget.
And
for
give it
the
an up
purchase
to amount,
Up to,
60,
okay,
and go way under that.
okay.
Up to
Right,
$60,000.
I mean, cause that's, you're a little over that anyway.
Mhm.
So if we did that, if we motioned it up to there.
I think you just did.
And give you the authority. To go do the selection piece,
Mhm.
We
um. Then,
need to add to the auditor part
Then we
if it
can
doesn't
keep-
come out.
Then we can just,
no, we can do that after.
and then we just get, so how's it work? I go there. Wherever there is, get the invoice. Bring it down, Deb is gonna cut a check, cause it's,
Beat them, shop it.
well, obviously, yes. Right,
You might need to add that.
I would do all three. I would do all three local vendors.
go to Hayes, just tell them, listen, I
Do
got
the
a.
Ford, do the
yeah,
GM, do the Ram,
Yeah,
and say, this is what we're looking for, work truck. You know,
and even if they have a demo with 1,000, 1,500 miles, that's fine. One with the first scratch in it is even better, it's cheaper.
I trust you.
Do you have a color?
I don't care what you get.
I do. Pumpkin orange. Like utterly hideous.
Probably red, their trunk truck's red, maybe
You're
red,
gonna get the best deal.
Alright, the best deal, okay.
Okay, so you made, that was your motion then? What you said was the motion?
Yep,
That works.
It was my thinking.
Okay. We need a
That's
second.
my motion.
We need a second then.
Might
Second,
wanna add that.
the amount of $60,000 or less.
Up
That's it, that's
to,
in there.
yeah.
Yep. All those in favor?
I,
Man, you guys are the best. Good
Did
job.
just one more thing, no.
that should have been in the motion.
Okay, quickly here under other business, how do you guys want to go about the budgeting process? Do you want me to warn a special budget meeting for all of us to sit down? Do you want to come in one at a time and sit with me and go through it? Me and Dave have done some work on it already, but we're getting there. So how do you guys want it? I mean, we can do a budget meeting one night a week or something if you want to do that, all of us together.
Can't the select board do that under a clause for work group and not do a warned meeting? First, I think we can.
I can look into that. I don't know the answer.
Call Brian and ask that question if the select board can participate in a budgeting work group. Without that being a specially warned meeting.
Okay.
I kind of think you can, and if you can't do that, then
I think we need to start working together on it.
yeah,
Like just doing it
Right.
here till 10 o'clock at night isn't gonna be healthy. We're
No,
gonna
no,
have
no,
to do
no,
it
no. I
during-
would rather we come in during the day when
Yeah.
people are, their minds are fresh and.
so if you found out the answer to that question, what worked for me in the past was having this and and taking it like a block at a time. Or a page at a time,
Yep,
you know, and going through it, take it home with you.
sure.
And just go through a page and see, you know, check, oh, maybe discussion, check.
Take this one with you.
You know what I mean? Cause you're gonna see something that I'm not, Dan's gonna question your spending. Right, Dan?
yes.
Mhm.
So I'm talking to Monahan to see if we can
And if it's,
do what did you call it?
it's a work
A
session
work session.
with the select board members
Yeah,
present
yeah, okay. gotcha.
without having a specially duly warned meeting.
Okay.
It seems like we've done that. In the
So-
past, and it's just for that, it's just for the creation of your budget. You know,
Yep.
it's- Otherwise, if you can't do that, then I think what we just talked about is you just have to go through them, each of us go home and then unless there's a flagged issue. It's sort of almost like, you know, you go with the previous number,
Right. Well, we've made some.
and tack a few
Yeah.
percentages onto it or something, but.
Dave changed some because we've got 3 road crew guys.
That's gonna be the
instead of
big
2,
one
so
for us, right? The
Yeah.
road crew
road
salaries.
crew salary went up. You'll
You're gonna have a new truck, you're gonna have a new backhoe, so you're gonna
a lot of
have
equipment, yeah.
some equipment.
Yeah.
We're gonna have less maintenance though, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And I should really spend some time on forward thinking on what the road department, like on their capital equipment is gonna look like or should look like over and.
Yep.
And I should get some budgetary numbers to bring on the equipment for spending for 2024, 25.
Right to our sheet of our capital equipment, we should have that sheet. Almost has that on there, doesn't it? Don't we have?
I don't know if we
don't
ever
have some-
really updated, but I'll work on that. I don't know if I got it to Dave, but I got all the VIN numbers on everything, and then we need to add the new VIN numbers, and then the years of everything, and then the rotation of everything, and then
The ages are on there. And,
the hours, the miles.
and we have our discussion on, you know, this is the number of pieces, this is the budgetary thinking going forward, here's when the best scenario would be for trade based on value, right? And so you sort of set a 5-year scenario, well, 7-year scenario, whatever you do,
Right.
to rotate those vehicles one a year or whatever.
It's basically one a year. After this, it's
Backhoe
basically
wouldn't be, you know, backhoe might be,
10 years. That might be a 10-year. You know, we might have, there's gonna be a year when you have a year off.
we had a document that used to tell us, that there's documents available that will tell you that thinking,
Mhm.
graders, backhoes, what the,
Probably the amount of hours. Like I think the town, the bucket load of the town having this now is like, I think it's 14 years old and really haven't had many problems with it.
Right.
That piece of equipment might be good for 10 or 14 years, you know what I mean?
right,
Especially when you have a backhoe that's,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm back.
so there's.
that exists.
Yeah,
Those documents
Municipality.
exist on when it tells you,
I'll find
there's
a
a recommended, we had that in our audit.
depreciation schedule or
Yeah.
something. Okay,
well, we kind of know like on the dump trucks, because they're worn out, we know.
Yeah.
The warranties,
Solid.
sell them with a warranty, 2 years of warranty left, you're gonna get, instead of getting 30 or 40,000, and then that guy, from, Dan from Alliance. I've called him 10 more times on the truck, you know, to generate the bill, to take care of the trade, to do. And his last text to me was, I'll call you, he rang, he says, can I call you back? So it says, yeah, call me. And then like 3 days later, I tell him, you gonna call me? So he hasn't reached back to me in 2.5 to 3 weeks since he said he was gonna call me, so. I guess I'm not really gonna worry about it. I might just tell him to pound sand. I don't know where we're at this point, cause maybe they sold the truck,
he's tough to get hold of.
so I
have
don't
no
know,
problem
but that's
with
the only, we still got that link.
And just another reminder that I'm gonna need a letter from you guys for your page in the book. At some point. I don't care who writes it, but.
Oh, come on, I did it last year. I think the new guy.
Yeah, I do, you're right.
I think the new guy wants to write the
But,
page.
you know, just don't forget, because once it goes to print, it goes to print. Okay.
We'll have to pick straws on that.
Approval of minutes. We've got 2 sets of minutes there, one from 2 weeks ago here, and then the other one from the special meeting we had with Newport Ambulance.
Actually take a long minutes,
What's that?
you write an awful lot in these minutes.
Would you want me to write less? I can do whatever you guys want. I don't, I don't wanna miss something that's important and then,
I think they look great.
and then you have to get mad at me, so.
Did the cows, did you hear any more about the cows? Did they, the sheriff
No, I
go?
mean, I've driven by and they seem to be where they're supposed to.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some round bales up there and, I mean, it's muddy, but they look happy enough, I guess.
Yeah.
I would motion that we accept the select board meeting minutes. Monday, November 6, 2023, and Thursday, November 9, 2023, as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Very good. And the warrants.
$1,000.
Oh. You didn't say,
Scott, you gotta sign.
doesn't seem like you've been here long enough.
No, I mean, that's not what I meant.
All right. I read this, but I'm not an attorney. Normally, do they, towns just sign it, or should the attorney review it?
I don't know, looks like you signed all the other ones from previous years.
This is for the ambulance contracts, both of these from Orleans.
One's Newport, one's Orleans. I mean, you guys approved it.
You read them, Matt?
I did.
You did?
I didn't see anything that stood out to
Nope,
me
I
that
mean, they seem.
they're
pretty-
saying they have
standard.
insurance and
Yeah,
they're saying
pretty
that
standard
they have
contracts.
mutual aid and they
You've
saying,
read them?
yeah. Don't know what I mean. Okay,
I gotta get.
If
one
you
copy.
guys have both read them, it's not outside of what we
Yeah.
talked about and agreed to, then.
No, it's exactly what you agreed to in the meeting.
good one.
I gotta get one back to Maryland and one back to Jeff over in Newport.
I'm surprised in Newport wasn't here though with their an amount. That's kind of weird. You think?
Well, I'll wait till the meeting's over.
Yeah. Well, I think when you get those numbers of where the instances occurred. Thank you. Thank you.
He's still sending us bills.
Move on him. So the backhoe's coming Wednesday, huh?
That's official?
Official demonstration, hats and t-shirts and
Nice. Did you give me a t-shirt too?
Where are the pictures
you
from?
better go up there.
Yeah.
You better, yeah.
There's something that they sent.
Yeah, he just sent me those on the phone today.
Who's doing the colors on the? Or is that Newport? Oh,
No.
there, who's doing the colors on them?
We did them with, it's the guy down there, Bernie.
Bernie.
They're done.
Were there colors there and they're plugged, or is that? new ones
They were
Check.
I think they might have pulled one or two new ones, but mostly they're all there and all needed to be replaced.
That was out where.
By a small firm.
Yeah.
Not much of them.
Those real big ones, did they replace those great big ones? Or was that in Newport?
No, it was Newport.
Oh,
And that whole stretch that they were replacing was pretty much where all the washouts would happen.
I didn't even go down there, so I don't know, but I guess it went pretty smooth. I was reading this, was this for their mistake?
Mhm.
I saw that, I was like, okay. He ate 1,800, but he billed us to fix it. Okay, that I thought.
That's the way I read
You pick your battles. Oh, I don't think I like this one.
it. You read that the same way I did. No.
94,562. How much longer can we hold this?
It was the. Oh, for the school. Yeah.
Check.
All set? Motion.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Motion to accept and approve the warrants as provided.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Okay, adjourns.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
6:23. Good job, guys.